Hey, it's your boy DJ Wolf here. Got a couple things I want to talk about regarding sports, Black history, and racism today. Let me get started. I had to watch a documentary that's currently on PBS right now, and you can still catch it. It's called I Still Rise. Since MLK. It's produced by Henry Louis Gates Jr. It's currently on PBS right now. It's probably on PBS Online as well. It's a very good documentary. I happened to catch something I remember that happened that they spoke about during the 70s. They were talking about the struggle since Martin Luther King Jr. And one of the things that I remember vividly was Hank Aaron back in 1974, I believe. It was 74. 73 or 74. But anyway, it was around that time. And I remember one night I went to bed. I knew something historic was going to happen that night. And my father woke me up in the middle of the night. And he talked about Hank Aaron breaking the home run record that was set by another legend named Babe Ruth. And the home run Hank Aaron set was for 715. I don't remember what Babe Ruth was, but he broke it. And prior to him breaking the record, white people, now let me tell you this. Hank Aaron had been playing for over 20 years at the time. He had been playing since the 50s, early 50s. This was sometime after Babe Ruth had retired. So a few years, some years, I don't remember, probably about less than 10 years after Babe Ruth retired. Hank Aaron was in Major League Baseball playing. But just before he was about to break the record, because he actually did gain ground, was about to break it, white people came out and were writing death threats, making phone calls to threaten to kill him and his family. Telling Hank Aaron, you better not break that record. Hank Aaron had the courage and the wherewithal to just say, you know what, I'm going to read this out. I'm going to let y'all know what you're talking about, y'all going to do, and I'm going to let you know what I'm going to do. Regardless of what y'all talking about. That night, that fall of September, Hank Aaron grabbed his balls, went on that mound, took that swing, and gave baseball and racism one of the biggest fuck you moments in history. He broke the record. The record stood around 715 home runs ever that night. It was a home run heard, felt, and watched around the world. I'll never forget that night. My dad made sure I never forgot that night. He said, boy, watch this. This is history, boy. This is history. He was excited. Hank Aaron was playing for Atlanta Braves at the time. My dad actually grew up in the South, watching him. He was growing up. He was very excited about that. And I was too. I never forget that night. That was a historic night. I saw it on television myself. the night that he did it. And it made me think about something. No matter what people say, no matter what people do to you, no matter if people try to threaten you because they're concerned about your greatness overshadowing them, you keep on striving to do better. That's what he did. I will always be indebted to Hank Aaron's legacy because of that. His legacy motivated me from that point on to do better year after year. It really did. Especially when I had self-esteem issues growing up at the time. And that's what it taught me. And I'm hoping that's what it teach these young people out here. He didn't worry about the situation he was in. He didn't worry about the people who was telling what he couldn't do, what shouldn't do, or threatening to tell what he ain't going to do. He did it. You know? That's all there was to it. He proved the point. And I'm glad he did. Fast forward to over 40 years later, 40 some odd years later, there was a story that came out recently. All right. There was a story that came out recently. From Lebron James, right? I said to type it up again. I was just looking at the story. About from Laura Ingram. I was actually upset about it when I saw it from her. Laura Ingram, who is the racist bitch that worked at Fox News, okay? She was feeling some kind of way because LeBron James and local boy made good in the NBA here from PG, Kevin Durant, went in for criticizing Trump. Notice I didn't call him president because it's just Trump. And she tells LeBron on her show to just shut up and dribble. Now, before I get to what he had commented back on her about, you notice the last couple of years, we noticed that we had a resurgence of sports figures coming out and taking a stand for their people. LeBron James did it before Trayvon Martin and others. Kaepernick did the same thing. Kaepernick is currently no longer playing with the NFL right now. I don't know what his future is definitely up in the air as far as that goes. But Kaepernick don't seem to mind. You know, I bought a jersey of his 2 years ago. And matter of fact, I think I paid $75 for it. And now you can't even find it. This is 2 years ago. Okay? And as soon as the weather get break, I'm going to start back wearing it again. And guess what? It's black with red lettering on it, with his jersey name and number. Okay. I was one of the first people that actually started wearing it. Not everybody wearing it. You know. And I will continue to wear stuff like that. Because what Kaepernick did was raise the bar on the civil rights movement to the next level. He really did. You gotta give him that. He put his money where his mouth is when it came to that. And I stand with him on it. I really do. But nevertheless, I want to talk about this comment in a second, because I also want to point out Beyonce also did a protest at Super Bowl a couple years ago. She was the only person who was out in the field, although she had a parade of women, black women, all had on afro wigs and dressed like they were Black Panthers. She didn't do that. But she did go out and protest with her song. And she got major backlash for it. I heard people on the job that was talking about, this, blah, blah, blah. Now, I wasn't crazy about the performance, but I understood one thing. That she used her talent to bring home a message. And I respected her for that. But these guys were like, you need to shut up and play football. Shut up and play football. Why did you be getting all that money? It ain't about the money. It's about the fact that you got people out there that had to deal with racism and suffrage and all that stuff. And, no one wants to address the issue. Kaepernick, to his credit, made sure that everybody knew about that. Okay, fast forward to recently. About Lebron James and Lauren Ingram. He did a segment, I forgot it's called Undefeated, ESPN show. I think it's an underground show, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, him and Kevin Durant was talking about, they were criticizing Trump. And Lauren Ingram fired back, talking about, you just need to shut up and dribble. So LeBron James said recently, he said, quote, I will not just shut up and dribble. He's also quoted saying, and this is during All-Star practice, so thank you, whatever her name is. I get to sit up here and talk about what's really important and how I can help change kids. It lets me know that everything I've been saying is correct for her to have that type of reaction. But we will definitely not shut up and dribble. I would definitely not do that. I mean too much to society. I mean too much to the youth. And I could testify with him on that because he's from my home state. And he still plays for my home team. I mean too much to say to so many kids that feel like they don't have a way out and they need someone to help lead them out of the situation they're in. Unquote. And James, according to this article, James likened himself to past outspoken black athletes like Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Bill Russell, Jackie Robinson, and to some degree, Hank Aaron. And Colin Kaepernick, as far as I will add. He also goes on to say, we know it's bigger than us. It's not about us. James said, I'm going to continue to do what I have to do to play this game and that I love to play. But this is bigger than me playing the game of basketball. It certainly is. Kevin Durant also made a comment about it and said, Ingram's comment, which shut and dribble, is a racist comment to me. I'll get that in a second. But he also goes on to say, I feel like everybody has a voice, especially with our own platforms. We can use our voices for good. It's not just me. I feel like everybody in this room has a voice and it's getting louder and louder every day. So we've got to speak what we believe in. We've got to speak our truths. And we've got to keep it real out here. Here's my thing. She basically was being racist. She went on a little tirade. All right. According to this article, she also added, look, there might be a cautionary lesson in Lebron for kids, she said. This is what happens when you attempt to leave high school a year early to join the NBA. And it's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce the ball. You know, that bitch is racist. You know, she is telling LeBron James, nigga, stay in your place. That's in essence is what she's telling him. Stay in your place, boy. We paying you to do a job. So don't say anything but shove and dribble. Here's my take on it. LeBron James is a public figure. LeBron James, if he wants to say that, he should. Yeah, he is a high-priced ball player. That's true. But he's also a public figure. Okay? Y'all want LeBron James to do these commercials and do these movies and appearances and all this other bullshit. But you won't tell LeBron James when he has something that's on his mind heavy about things that's going in his community that he sees as wrong and injustice there, he don't have a right to speak out. Bitch, go suck a dick. Big time. He has every right to speak out about injustice in our country. Just like I'm doing now. You know. First of all, I'm not on the clock. Okay? And technically, when he spoke out, he wasn't on the clock. He was on the floor. Okay? But you're going to tell him, nigga, stay in your place. That's what you're saying. You know? That's the problem with white people. White people want to have their cake and eat it too. You know? They continually want to do that. They continually want to have, how can I put it? Checks and balances within your community, tell you how to eat, sleep, live, breathe, fuck, and whatever. They don't have that right to tell you how to conduct yourself. They don't have that right to dictate what's on your mind, how you feel about things, or how you see certain situations. But yet, they're still trying to do that. Why is it okay for them to have an opinion on something? She's a public figure in the media. Yet, she can say whatever the fuck she wants to say and don't get put on blast. Well, bitch, let's be real. Since y'all took over this country back in the 1600s, all right, you have always carried on with quote-unquote white privilege. Y'all have always had white privilege. People like me and my kind have always been dogged for years. My people have been raped, mutilated, burned alive, fed by alligators, abandoned. Y'all even tried to breed us out one time. But still, you know, And you don't expect us to talk about this shit? Really? You out your damn mind. No. It's like keeping a rat inside of a cage. That rat gonna get tired of this shit. And eventually they're gonna break out. LeBron James is not a slave. Yeah. He's a highly caliber NBA player who get paid a lot of money, including endorsements. LeBron James also built charitable funds to help out his communities, especially up in Ohio, Northeast Ohio area. This is something I know for a fact. He does. He puts his money where his mouth is. Okay? Because at this point, when you out there putting your body through abuse every night to do what you're doing, you have a right to speak out as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. And I ride with him on it. All day. Okay? All day. He also built his own brand, his own production company. He's making moves. I don't know if the show's coming back, but I think it is. So, in essence, he's doing things. He's giving back. He's giving back his community. He's spoken out about injustices. I think LeBron James have every right to say what's on his mind by it. But the thing of it is, Laura Ingraham feels that white people are threatened by a black man speaking his mind about injustice in the country to wake up people in this country, to put a conscious effort in people's minds about what's really wrong with this country, what's always been wrong with this country. And she just telling him, nigga, go stay in your place and play ball. You don't need to be getting political. We got people control that measure. No, bullshit. He has every right to say what's on his mind. And I'm glad he's doing it. I have no problem with that. I wish more guys to speak up like him. Just like y'all criticize people like, I keep bringing him up, Tommy Sotomayor. I met the guy back in 2015, and to be honest, I don't agree with everything he say, but I agree with a lot of stuff that he do say that you can't deny. Let's be real. Let's be 100% real. You can't deny the things that Tommy Sotomayor said, because a lot of what he said is facts. Okay? And LeBron James, all he's stating is facts. He's saying facts. People don't want to address the issue. People want to see a view of the world, and they want you to see the view of the world without sin. In other words, I can show you that the sky is orange based on what I want to show you, but it's not orange. It's actually either blue during the daytime or black during the nighttime, or white and cloudy and gray when the sun ain't out, or when it is out and you can't see it. In other words, I want to control the narrative, which is basically what the predominantly white media still wants to do. And I know some people say, well, you sound like a radical. No, I'm not being a radical. I'm being a realist. I'm being honest. And like I said before, with my channel, my podcast and my YouTube channel is honest, thoughtful conversations. Thought-provoking conversations, okay? And this is what this is about. Think about it. The majority of the mainstream media is white. Okay? They want to control a narrative on everything you do and say. Not only in this country, but in this world. Yeah, they do. That's a known fact. BT. Yeah, majority guy. You had a minority person who owned part of BT and they sold out. Bob Johnson. They actually talked about him in the special I watched today on Black History, which I think is the next segment coming up. I just catch you later. I think I already seen it. And then Oprah, just recently, sold half of her 50% that she owned in her own channel. You know, she only owns 25% now. She's no longer part owner. She's quarter part owner, which means Discovery Channel could pretty much basically buy the rest of the contract out. Which I don't understand. 25% of her share was only $75 million. With all that media that she put on that channel, she sold it for a mere $75 million. I thought that was weird. She basically just gave it away. You know, although half her programming was reality shows on there. You know, which is probably why she sold it so cheap. It's really messed up though, at the end of the day. Because I thought Oprah was better than that. I really did. If anything, I thought Oprah was going to go ahead, since she owned 50%, was buy the rest of it and become majority owner of the network. Actually, I thought she was majority owner of the network. She was only part owner of the network. Now she's not even part owner. She only owns a piece of it. And eventually, the network will be taken over by somebody else. Yeah, the narrative will no longer be black. You know, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Oprah could have took that 50% and sold it to another majority black entity. And she did. She sold half of what she had back to Discovery Network. It wasn't about Oprah building. It's about her winning. Because I thought she was going to try and build a network similar to BET or even better than BET and TV One combined. And she didn't. I don't even think Kathy Hughes actually owns TV One. I know she runs Radio One. But TV One, I don't even think it's hers. I did, but I think I heard a rumor about it. I'm gonna check. I'm not 100%. You know, I know she owns Radio One. Radio One she run for many years. But if you know, it's TV One and BET aren't the same networks anymore. They're not. And apparently neither is OWN, or at least it won't be after a while. And speaking of OWN, I watched the resurgence, the comeback of the Pains. The Pains look more like a pain than what it used to be. It's really a shadow of what it used to be. It's not the same show it was anymore. If anything, it might be a little bit too much of what it was and not what it should have evolved to be. I don't know how to describe it. It's not the same show. And with with Jack A being on there, I would think it would be even funnier show. It's not. I gave it, it's been on, I think, about last 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. The show was falling flat. I ain't gonna lie, it's falling flat. Because initially, when it came back, they had the entire original cast of the show on there. That included Calvin and CJ and his wife and their 2 kids. And I know the guy played Calvin on the show actually has a big time movie and TV career on his own now. He's a big deal now. Lance Rose is a big deal now. CJ I think is doing plays. CJ's wife, I forgot her name. She's also a big deal now. She's moved on to bigger and better things. And the daughter is now on one of the hottest new shows on TV, Black Lightning. So they've all moved on. They were just on there for like a reunion show to get the ball rolling to bring back the Paynes. You know, which is what I found that the Paynes moved to Florida. So it was just Curtis and Ellen. And it's not the show. I ain't gonna lie. This is my updated review on it. The show is not as good as it used to be. It's not even close. And I thought it would be, it has some elements, but it's not. It's just a small fraction, a small show of what the show used to be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm disappointed with it. I watch it. I do support it. But I can tell you right now, I don't think Tyler Perry is on the helm of the show anymore. I don't think he is. I think he's just in it by name only. And you can tell. So, all right, guys. That's it for my rant on this. It's DJ Wolf. Wanted to get that off my chest. Just want to let you know, even though this is Black History Month, we're still in the struggle. We're still in the struggle.